You feel fulfilled?
Life is a grind sometimes. You wake up, get ready for your day, go to school, work or whatever, get back home, eat, sleep, and do it all again tomorrow. On one hand, consistency is actually good and something we need as humans. However, if you're going through the motions in life, just doing the bare minimum, that's a sign of a bigger problem. But as it turns out, the MCU's latest movie not only understands the struggle of a life without purpose, but gives solutions on how to fix it. Rise up, GG Nation, because it's time for Guidance Guy Friday, your weekly guidance lesson from your internet school counselor. And right on the heels of the latest Marvel release, let's see how the Thunderbolt Misfits can help you find meaning, not only in your day-to-day, but every day of your life. Let's go! It's guidance time!
I can't think of a worse group of people trying to work together.
Speed! John, stop! Where are you?
Before we get too deep into this, I want to clear something up. There will be some minor spoilers for Thunderbolts, so if you haven't seen it yet, don't freak out. And if you have seen it, just know I won't be going into full spoiler land. But if you want that spoiler-filled deep dive, let me know in the comments. Now let's start with our motley crew, this random assortment of characters from Marvel movies and shows that, let's keep it a buck, not everybody cared about. First up in this little box of chocolates is Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, whom since Endgame has come a long way from being the guy who was mind-controlled into offing Iron Man's parents. He's actually a senator now, with a suit and everything. Next up is Yelena. And if you don't know her, then thanks for the self-report that you didn't watch Black Widow. She's Natasha's little sister who was also trained/brainwashed into being an assassin from an early age. And the Black Widow connection continues with our next member, the Red Guardian. Not only is he Yelena and Natasha's father, he's also got that super soldier serum running through his veins. In his glory days, he was pretty much the Captain America of Russia, Captain Commie if you will. Next up, Ghost, who's able to phase through solid objects. And if you don't know who she is, then congratulations, you missed out on Ant-Man and the Wasp. I mean, you missed it, but you didn't miss out. There's a reason why Ant gets dunked on so bad in Endgame. And lastly, John Walker, or as I like to call him, store brand Captain America. After Steve saved the universe and returned as Joe Biden,
we finally beat Medicare.
Johnny was tapped to be the next Cap, but between his anger issues, entitlement, and crippling imposter syndrome, he couldn't cut it, and Falcon swooped in to take back the shield that was his all along.
You've got to do better.
And that's our heroes for the film. A bunch of anti-heroes and straight-up villains thrown together. And if you're thinking,
but you forgot someone!
Yes, I did. But that's because that guy's whole existence is a spoiler. And this ain't the place for that. But despite the randomness of this group, there's one thing that brings them together. The fact that at one point, all these guys had no idea what to do with their lives.
There is something wrong with me. An emptiness.
Aimless, directionless, lost. Almost every single member of the Thunderbolts could be described in these words, but each for a different reason. Now pay attention to how each bolt is living and ask yourself if you or someone you know is acting like this. First up, Johnny Walker. Even though years have passed since he lost the title of Captain America, he's still been crashing out. He's angry and short-tempered, unable to live with the L that Sam Wilson gave him. With Ghost, everything is about survival. In Ant-Man 2, the deal with her was that her ability to phase in and out made her body unstable. But since then, she's been taken care of. But she's still living just to get by, with no other motivation. Looking over to Soviet Man, when he's not miserable, he's reliving the glory days, wishing they could come back. His story is almost exactly the same as Mr. Incredibles in the first movie. And Yelena? Let's just call it what it is. She's depressed. She has all the signs. She barely has any motivation to do anything. She carries an overwhelming feeling of sadness that's only interrupted by her apathy and not feeling anything at all. She feels guilty for all the lives that she's taken in her line of work. And lastly, she feels hopeless that her life will get any better. It's to the point that she even describes this feeling as a void. Shoot, I'd call her a burnout if it weren't for the fact that she's still good at her job. Now with all the bolts, we see symptoms of someone who is emotionally drained, even empty. And there's always a reason for that. It could be mistakes that were made in the past, legit bad actions that we wish we could take back, or good choices that we wish we made but didn't. It all comes down to regrets. The Thunderbolts have them, and so do we. And with these regrets or down moments in our lives, sometimes we're able to bounce back, other times it takes us a minute to recover, but every once in a while, we just get stuck. Our emotions are ultimately temporary, like waves in the ocean that come and go. But if you find yourself feeling angry all the time, or you're about to cry most of the time, then that's a problem. And letting these feelings dominate you and become part of your identity will only make these feelings stronger. And letting these thoughts and feelings linger in you don't just make you feel bad. Over time, it can even damage your brain. Memory issues, mood swings, shoot, holding on to misery is even capable of shrinking your brain. So what can you do if you notice these habits or patterns in you? Let's start with the don't list. First, don't isolate. Every single one of the bolts starts out alone. They don't have anyone they can reliably go to for support. Even the father-daughter duo of anti-heroism can't check in on each other except if one wants something from the other first. Studies show that closing ourselves off only intensifies whatever negative feelings we already have, only making ourselves feel worse. Second, don't stop caring. Deciding not to care is only a few steps away from straight up quitting. And if you're already losing motivation, telling yourself that even that doesn't matter is a huge red flag. And last one, don't think that whatever you're feeling will just go away on its own. Yes, I did just say that emotions tend to come and go. Thanks for paying attention. But if you're fighting with these feelings day after day, chances are it's not just gonna leave you on its own. Because if it was going to, it would have by now. In fact, when you do nothing, you're guaranteeing that you'll wake up the next day with that same feeling right next to you, exactly where you left it when you fell asleep the night before. But now that we know what not to do, what can we do instead? Well, here's a starter. Don't run from the void. Instead, confront it head on.
We can find a way together.
There was one Thunderbolt I conveniently left out in the last section, and I did it on purpose because he's the only one who's been where the others were, but came out the other side. Good old Bucky. But the only reason why he was able to go from mind control mercenary to politician is because he put in the work. Because he already tried running away from his past, and it low-key kicked off Civil War. And until OG Cap rescued him, the only thing giving up did for him was make him a Hydra puppet. For BB, confronting the void meant getting help. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we see Bucky go to counseling for his issues. Sure, he was forced by the government to go, but when he started taking it seriously, he started to change. And in your case, you might need some outside help, and that's okay. Reach out to a school counselor, social worker, and have a chat with them. We already know doing nothing won't help. What do you have to lose? Another step we see both Bucky and Yelena take is to repair relationships. In Black Widow, it was awesome to see Natasha, Yelena, and their dad on a heroic mission like they were the MCU's version of The Incredibles. But when Black Widow passed away, that close family bond died with her. The Red Captain and Yelena act more like close friends who grew apart than family. But as Thunderbolts goes on, we see Yelena rebuild that relationship. And with Bucky, it's understandable to not be much of a people person when you've murked so many people. But even he was willing to make things right and even ask for forgiveness. If your emptiness is due to mistakes in your past, try your best to make amends. If you did someone wrong, own up to it, don't make excuses, apologize, and make a plan so that it doesn't happen again. And if it's the best thing to do in your situation, go and talk to the person that you wronged. This can be messy depending on the situation, but in general, if the person you want to talk to is someone you still want to have a relationship with and they're still alive, go ahead and make that effort. And remember, you're doing this for you, not the other person. So even if they don't forgive you or want nothing to do with you, as long as you had the conversation, you're good. But let's say you do all of this. You might be asking, how do I know when I'm better? Fair question. It could look like many things. Being happier, having community and friends you trust, having a reason to want to get out of bed in the morning. But perhaps the biggest sign that you found purpose is that you're helping others heal. And again, we gotta go back to my boy Bucky. Even though that was not his original goal when he showed up in the movie, we see through White Wolf's actions towards the Thunder Crew what a person who's found meaning in life looks like. Yelena does this too, but that's going into spoiler land. For us, it may not be as obvious, but the opportunity is still there. We are surrounded by people who feel lost and like they're just going through the motions. Being willing to listen to other people's problems and helping where you can without doing the work for them goes a long way. At first glance, Thunderbolts looks like a Suicide Squad knockoff. But nah, this ain't the Suicide Squad. This is a support group for super soldiers and brainwashing survivors. But even through the randomness that brought them together, the Thunderbolts became more than their past and found their purpose for the future. Now it's your turn. What can you do to find your purpose right now? Okay, so I want to know, you planning to see Thunderbolts? Got any takeaways for those who did? Let's see it in the comments, and let's get this message into the algorithm by doing the YouTube thing. smack that subscribe button and lob a like to this video. And if you want more MCU insights from a school counselor's perspective, check out this almost hour-and-a-half long video that goes into characters like Loki, Wanda, and even Miles Morales. See you there! Guidance Guy out.